Alright, so I just had a really bad back massage, with my shoulders actually, because I thought a trophy was a shoulder massager, and so now I feel like all of my joints are gonna be falling off of my chest. And also I got runner's high, so I'm gonna be loopy with these characters tonight. So just as a forewarning, that's what happens when your personal trainer's like, yeah, you know what, we're gonna get on this treadmill, we're gonna go at the highest altitude, and we're gonna go for 30 minutes. And I'm like, alright, let's give it a try. And then I'm like, whoa, I don't know where I am. Where am I? What planet am I on? Am I on Tommy's world? Alright, so now we're into the trial. So there's gonna be like 3 different parts to this trial, because this one's a long one. And there's gonna be so many plot twists with this. I'm not even kidding
Just a
you.
question, am I gonna be double voicing tonight?
Well, I mean, the jury's gonna be here, so technically yes.
Alright, just getting my voice ready for all the fucked up brain.
Yeah, you gotta play science guy and corn on the cob girl that eats like a typewriter.
Detective.
Oh, I don't know if the detective shows up in this one part. I don't know. But we'll find out as we go further into it.
Hell, I can't even remember what voice I gave the girl. I could probably was laughing for 9% of the time.
Corn with the typewriter sound effects.
Exactly. When you see her again, you'll probably remember. Good morning to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings? I hope so. I should be, even I, with nothing left to... Good morning, my dear fellows.
Oh, no.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here. Why, naturally, a true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times.
Since when?
Since now, my dear madam. Thank you, I really appreciate it. I'll see you later, then. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm in the courtroom today.
Yes, do try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again.
Yes, I will. I realize it was a mistake, but my dear fellows, I must interject. Oh, you're still here, Mr. Sholmes. What's the matter? Surely you've overlooked some praise, have you not? To be cast in my direction, hmm? Sorry, I don't follow. Must I spell it out? I, the great Herlock Sholmes, the greatest detective of worldwide acclamation, arose at some ungodly hour to be here now, first thing in the morning. A miracle, you must agree. Well, if I must agree, then...
Hey, I can hear your microphone beating up.
As you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. Iris had to employ her full gamut of tactics. She pulled the covers off, shook me, poked both cheeks, punched me, and kicked me from the bed.
Ow!
Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestirred.
God damn! A violent little bitch she is.
Oh my.
I had to make sure you were bright and early this time, Hurley. You can't be oversleeping again.
Iris has been busy.
Iris doesn't have it in her to go that far. She's too nice.
Oh.
I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist, one who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea. I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory. Sorry to cut in.
Aha!
Oh, Inspector Gregson, good morning. Gregson, my dear fellow, why the grim expression at this delightfully early hour?
I don't know. Maybe because I've been confronted with a grimmer expression, eh?
Dear me, are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor? What? I don't know! Poor professor.
Anyways, here's the paperwork you asked for.
What paperwork? Ah, I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling it may prove useful.
You wouldn't believe the hop I had jumped through to get this brought out of the archives. It's the Professor Autopsy report.
At mass murderers.
Who killed 5 members of the aristocracy?
He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It all done under wraps. And he was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here.
I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector. Yes, much obliged, Gregson.
The law at the yard are just doing what we can in the shadow of the great detective Sholmes, of course.
Bye. Well then, Professor Harebrain, this is it. Today we're gonna lay all this to rest at last.
I wish you the best of luck, Professor.
I suppose he'll be in there today, will he? Trevor.
Yes, we expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness.
I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much.
Counsel and the defendant. The trial's about to resume. Kindly make your way to the courtroom at once.
Fail to stay
I
away from my
mean,
computer.
there's a very good boy that he needs to thank for that happening.
Oh,
The very
Toby!
juicy little steak.
Leave it to good old Toby here to find him.
This is it.
Toby
then.
for the best character ever.
This boy.
This is it then. The final chapter. Funny. My heart's racing a little. I should probably get that checked. I've not felt this before, actually. This strange foreboding. I should probably get that checked, too. As if something's going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters. Finding the truth.
God, I can't believe I forgot to ask him to email. I forgot to send the email to the poker night.
Well, that's on you. You should have done much better with that. You know, I told you to send the email before he came in this morning.
Shut up!
Wait for my fucking laptop, I tell ya.
I can just imagine now, Homestar, Strongback, and Professor Gregson talking amongst themselves about the whole email thing.
Oh my.
And I provide burgers for when everything goes wrong at the poker table. In her name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Harebrain here present, who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed? The prosecution is ready, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord.
Oh gosh, is he gonna stare at us this whole time?
Oh,
Even
wait till
Toby's staring because of the mask.
wait till you see what he does.
Oh no.
He's just staring. Menacing.
As promised, Lord Van has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss. And are we gonna be staring back at him the whole time?
It's a staring contest, yeah.
So you're not gonna be blinking the entire time. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks. Yes, my lord. There appears to be someone standing at your side. Ah, yes, my apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity of this case rise considerably.
Oh, shit!
He is my bottle opener. I therefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial. And the smooth running of liquid refreshments by the look of it.
The way he holds himself, the way he moves. It couldn't be anyone else.
It gets at the middle.
But he's still suffering from amnesia, so there's really nothing we could do at the moment.
I know, but... oh, this is so very hard.
It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday. I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question. Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly. Very good. Very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today, are you ready and willing to proceed?
Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty.
I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearing. To drink a man's life with a conjuring trick, it is against the magician's code, not to mention the law. Well, shit, oh shit.
Defense scientists should feel the wrath of God, if you ask me.
Wait a minute, you're a scientist. How can you believe in religion?
I don't know, I'm just reading the script. We have to listen to what said both sides. The fence, then the selfie on one, that it isn't.
Then
Is that, did you say
We're taking selfies in the 1900s.
I mean, it's possible this doesn't take... I mean, it's
That's why I
gonna
can't
take
slow down the
longer.
reading. It's so funny. I'm like, wait, what? I'm reading.
Renosuke, Sasato, get ready to take a selfie. Here we go. Von Zeeks, get in the photo. I'm not one for selfies. Oh, come on. Stop being such an old fart. Get in the picture.
I think I'm starting to be dyslexic as I get older.
It wasn't like this in my day. It wasn't like this at all.
oh my chest is starting to hurt.
Breathe, breathe. Okay, I purposely fucked it up.
If all parties are ready to proceed, you may begin, Lord Van Zeeks. Before I do, my lord, there is a report I must read to the court. Yesterday, at the Great Exhibition grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case, the super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed on the experimentation stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons.
Was what? An explosion?
Got away from
You're gonna wait, sir.
this is an outrage.
Okay, a Sparta moment.
Yes, I heard this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithers, and the wreckage reduced to ashes in the flames. I have here a photographic print of the scene taken in the wake of the explosion.
Damn, son.
It shows what little remains of the machine. Yes, a terrible business. He did it to destroy the evidence, did he?
And Enoch Trevor.
The courts will take this print as evidence, Counsel.
Oh no, was Andrew in the explosion?
Great Scott, Andrew, no! My one true
Damn it, Enoch, you assassinated Andrew.
It was just a screwdriver. What are you talking about? It's an inanimate object.
And you believe in curses, shut up!
Well, you monster! You look at it as if it's some sort of object, but it really has a soul. You shut your mouth.
I almost thought you were gonna say you shut your whore mouth.
Alright, for that little for that sequence, I can already hear like the beginning of 2 Zarkan from like Final Fantasy X in the background.
Late yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial. Oh no! As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the Kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity. Indeed. A most unfortunate state of affairs. However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and who ultimately caused its loss of control.
Objection.
As Lord Van Zeeks rightly says, this is a very different trial now. Whoa, you actually agreed with me. Holy shit. This is gonna be the shortest trial in existence. The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Asmund died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters. Names, Counsel, if you please. The engineer, Mr. Enoch Drever, and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Asmund. Oh, so the victim is actually not as pure as ever. Well, shocker. So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant. Thank you, counsels. The positions of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated. Lord Van Zeeks, summon your first witness, please. At once, my lord. The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Enoch Dreber, to the stand.
Not the creepy man!
State your name and occupation for the court. Name, Enoch Dreber. Occupation. Hard to pin down, I would say. Rubble, rubble, rubble? Wow, they really don't have a sense of the English language. How foolish of them.
Rubble, rubble, fuck you, rubble, rubble.
Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork model, is it? A most extraordinary sounding business. But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Cleave it from your mind. You're familiar with the public experiment carried out on the Great Exhibition some days ago? The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration. Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there? It was you, Mr. Dreber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment. Or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement? Yes, I constructed it in precise accordance with the blueprints, but that's all. Then the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather be home watching Full Metal Panic.
Metal Alchemist be his thing.
An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last. What? Good gracious! Do you mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir? Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up.
Objection.
But we've already established the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection!
You've established nothing of the sort. Oh shit, he's right. All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of stage trickery. The defense merely proposed the method and demonstrated its feasibility, nothing more. But, come on! I'm trying here. We've procrastinated all enough, I feel. Witness, you will now give your formal testimony about the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration at the Great Exhibition. Understood. I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago through Mr. Asmund's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints, and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow.
I can hear the professor screaming.
No! It's a bloody lie, that is! Great Scott, man! A body double? That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something has moved when in reality it hasn't. It's a basic conjuring principle. The deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with the fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines? Ugh. Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Asmund had no twin siblings. It's my understanding that this witness is well versed in conjuring artfulness. But such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims. Namely, the construction of what by all accounts must have been an extremely complex scientific machine. Whatever do you mean? Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber. Indeed it did, my lord. As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how. Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic in the field. Investigation of the witness's workshop attests to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this back massager, Royal Science Society trophy for young talent in science there.
Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves.
If a hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation with sufficient skill. Though I may have sold the secrets of some deceptive wiles to sniveling, talentless scientists in the past. Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was an unfortunate accident, or of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by misuse of the science? Counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. Now we just have to figure out if this guy eats actual food, or if he does, like, the whole motor oil and eats, like, nothing but, metal stuff.
Are you sure he doesn't, like, go outside and does, like, the SpongeBob joke of photosynthesis?
Oh, yeah. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis.
Oh my gosh, now I realize what the voice reminded me of when SpongeBob decided he was gonna be a quote-unquote normal guy.
Hi, how are you? Ah, look here, Mrs. Sato.
Oh, yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height?
Yes, from the height at which the balloon was flying down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet or 9 meters.
Leaving the man inside tragically dead.
Objection!
We've examined the bird cage that crashed into the crystal tower ourselves. As you can see, the cage, which is a wooden construction, has sustained damage in one particular spot. Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the crystal tower. That level of damage is to be expected, surely. I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage. Oh, shit. All the breakages in the wood are at the base of the birdcage, not the top. What are you saying? That's the opposite of where they should be. That's right, my lord. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the crystal tower, yet the damage is at the bottom. The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were two bird cages in play that day, which were at some point switched. Switched during what wasn't a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery. Go. Good gracious! Explain yourself, witness! Well... If we examine the facts, there's only one logical conclusion we could draw. The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that it crashed tail first into the tower.
Objection!
But multiple witness reports claim it fell head first. The birdcage materialized in the sky next to a balloon flying over the stage following a spontaneous explosion, at an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level.
Which is approximately 18 meters.
It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the crystal tower in the ensuing deflagration. Witness reports amid such chaos are notoriously unreliable.
Objection!
But the victim's neck was broken.
Objection!
He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it would be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed. Ka. Getting jiggy with it. A riveting scientific analysis of events from the prosecution there. Though to be even more rigorous, you would have to say it was only one vertebra, actually. He wasn't quiet for long.
I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Van Zeeks. This witness is clearly a swindler, and one who deceived a personal friend of his.
I guess it's his ex-best friend? If you're going to establish this deception, do it right.
Sorry.
I feel like that's the undertone here. Ah, yes, and there's one more point. The defense appears to have forgotten. It obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth very plainly demonstrates. What? It seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until he resolved this matter. Mr. Drebber, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth. Of course, we must treat the matter scientifically after all. Ugh, I nearly had him there. What the fuck is he doing?
He's
Oh god. He's doing it again! Shakespeare ain't got nothing on me.
now I want to see him and Shivberg in a dance contest.
Oh god. Oh, you thought you were gonna be... Oh, you want to do some dances, huh? I am doing the robot, you motherfucking piece of shit.
This guy could be in a heavy metal gothic band.
Hello, this is Iron Maiden. Are you ready to listen to the number of the beast?
Yeah, yeah.
Its number is 666. Oh no, please, not the devil. The devil is one of the worst Shakespearean characters ever. There is no devil in Shakespeare. The devil is you, you murderous hack. Okay, well, at least we have that dance. So now we have a Drebber dance and we have a Shakespeare dance. If we put them together one by one, we'll find out more about who's better. Oh, Sylph, you just missed the Drebber dance.
I'm sure it'll be shown again.
Oh, hopefully.
Probably.
It's gonna put they're gonna be fighting over it now. Shakespeare versus Drebber. Battle of the Dances. This is a diagram of the experimentation stage and its surroundings. What does this have to do with dancing? We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in mid-air before falling down into the crystal tower. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there is one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. The same distance of 30 feet. No! Oh, shit. Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward. Go ahead, counsel. Yes, my lord. Of course. You will indicate the place to which you are referring on the same diagram. The alternative location for which the birdcage could possibly have fallen the requisite 30 feet.
Take that!
The place I'm referring to is here. But that's where the birdcage would have been to begin with. Which is exactly the point, my lord. Yes, the birdcage was in the machine on the stage. But what we must also consider is the height of the stage itself. Go on, counsel. It turns out that the experimentation stage was built at a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, you'll see it's at about the same height above the ground as the balloon was above the crash site. Oh, fuck.
Boy, again.
When the experiment got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam. At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assume there to be a void underneath, this birdcage and the one seen by the audience would have fallen almost exactly the same distance.
My head.
Once again, my lord, this all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but two.
Objection!
My learned friend has no evidence that the stage had such a contrivance in its design. Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the Kinesis machine itself, it's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at this photographic print of the scene following yesterday's explosion. Good lord! The metal grill that formed the floor of the machine is undone! Yes, most likely blown open by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated immediately. Mr. Drebber. It was you who built the Kinesis machine. Which means that it was you who built the 2 bird cages that were used to carry out this deception. Whether Professor Harebrain's hypothesis is sound or not makes no difference, because it's the construction of this machine that matters. A machine designed to take Mr. Asmon's life. And lay the blame firmly at the professor's door, something that could only have been carried out by you, Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Dun dun dun.
Grrr. Wah.
I think he just had a stroke.
Objection!
Wine time. If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertions... Well, that was a waste. The prosecution would like to crush the defense's arguments slowly but surely. What did Shirley ever do to you? Your argument fails to hold water. On 2 counts. 2? Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the Kinesis machine. Every relevant member of staff from the exhibition has attested to that. And I believe members of Scotland Yard have also been on watch duty at every public experiment.
Damn Skippy.
In other words, Mr. Drebber had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages. But I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to. The nonsense with the crossbow, that doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. The forensic investigation team's report is unequivocal on that point. And the second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have wanted to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so. A motive? Do I have to think of everything myself?
Yes.
I have here a contract provided by the witness. What contract is this, Lord Van Zeeks? The contract into which Mr. Drebber entered with the victim, Mr. Asmon. It reads, Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remunerations from government grants or other income. 30%? Certainly very favorable contractual conditions. But there was one very important provision bolted onto that clause. What provision? Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right on condition that both contracting parties are alive. In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract would become null and void. So you see, I had nothing to gain from Mr. Asmon's death. The diametric opposite, in fact. Ugh. Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime. In short, the possibility of Mr. Drebber having done as you suggest is nil. Ugh. Ah! Ow.
Rabbit.
It seems the defense's assertion was somewhat wide of the mark. Lord Van Zeeks, you will submit the contract as evidence, please. It's true. If Drebber had no opportunity to switch the birdcage under the stage with the one in the Crystal Tower, he couldn't have done it.
And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been.
There is one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however.
Oh.
There were 2 bird cages. The prosecution is unable to deny that.
Ah.
So, I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Naruhodo. And I have no doubt there were other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths, too. Oh, man.
Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer.
Let us pray in silence.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
That's not a prayer.
Ka-ka-ka-ka-yee.
Kind of sound like Mr. Krabs laughing.
Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built, and instead my reputation is defiled. But the prosecution's counter has set the record straight, I think. It's impossible that I'm the culprit.
Objection!
At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only 1 birdcage. Yeah, now we know there must have been 2. In other words, there was more to the demonstration than we realized at first. Why does my hand look like Thanos' glove? I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit.
Get to the point.
The stage demonstration was constructed and set up in its entirety by you, Mr. Trevor. Therefore, it's conceivable that you had no hand in the events that transpired. So if circumstances mean it's impossible that you could have carried out the crime yourself, it points to the fact that someone else was involved.
Someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting...
Yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice.
Objection!
An accomplice now? Well then, I presume you're prepared for what's to come? Now that you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else of the most serious of crimes. If these accusations turn out to be false, then make no mistake. The prosecution will demand an equally serious punishment for your slander.
Dracula.
Well, counsel, do you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter?
What do I do here? At the moment, this is little more than a hunch on my part. I don't know for sure if Drebber had an accomplice or even if he really is the culprit here. One way or another, though, I have to make my position clear as a lawyer. So what's my stance going to be? Did Drebber have an accomplice or not? The defense is ready to name Mr. Drebber's accomplice. Somehow the 2 bird cages must have been switched. Everything points to that. Yet according to the coroner's report, that's not a possibility. Ow! Why do I keep doing that to myself? But that inconsistency itself is a clue.
Counsel?
My lord?
You have received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must now ask you to identify this alleged accomplice by name. So, your answer, please. Who do you claim to have been Mr. Drebber's accomplice?
Take that!
The name of the person in question is...
What's wrong, my Nipponese friend? Surely fear doesn't bide your tongue now. It's a little late for that.
Of course I'm afraid. After all, naming her in this capacity is definitely going to make waves. A lot of waves. It could very well turn every single person in this courtroom against me.
I'm sure it will be alright, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Mrs. Sato.
The enemy always appears larger than life, but you'll appear exactly the same to the enemy.
Alright then, here it goes.
You've kept us waiting long enough. Your answer, Counsel, now.
The person who colluded with Mr. Drebber in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Courtney Scythe.
What the blazes are you talking about? Dr. Scythe? The head of the forensic investigation team and the coroner who conducted the autopsy on the victim?
We know there were 2 bird cages, so who could have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators and the area was immediately sealed off. Then everyone, police officers included, were banished to make way for the forensic investigation team. When else could the switch have occurred? It can only have been in that team's presence. It's essential that the court determines exactly what happened following the incident. The defense demands that Dr. Scythe be summoned to the witness stand at once to testify.
Are you looking to shoot?
You've got a nerve, lad. Standing up there, dragging the Yard's name through the mud.
I didn't mean to.
Know that woman very well. There's no better room worker out there. How dare you call her a criminal? Crap, wrong accent.
Criminal.
My learned friend's imagination appears to be wilder than the East End at night. But the recklessness of your accusation aside, there's another great problem with your argument. One which the prosecution demands you address at once.
A grave problem?
Oh my word.
Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger?
What?
Certainly if the birdcage containing the body of the victim was exchanged for another, that cage must also have contained a body. And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone even remotely resembling the victim have been reported. Which means there was no one, dead or alive, who could have fulfilled the role of a body double for Mr. Asman.
Fix the figure.
That's true. My argument is that there were 2 bird cages, then there must have been 1 person inside each. But I don't know if I got an answer to this yet, have I? What can I do to reveal how this body double stunt was achieved? Very well. The defense will address my learned friend's concerns by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Asman's body double.
Good gracious! Evidence? I do hope this isn't filibustering, Counsel. The court is expecting a name. If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now.
The body double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means that any witnesses would only have seen them from 60 feet away. So who was it that appeared out of that explosion some 18 meters above the spectators? Aha! The body double inside the second birdcage was... Take that! We know that the victim, Mr. Asman, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on stage. And therefore, he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contained something else. What's been described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the Crystal Tower.
Yes, Counsel, according to your somewhat elaborate version of events.
And that body double inside the second birdcage was, in fact...
Can't keep us still.
It's alright, Mr. Naruhodo. You're ready for this.
I'm
Get
not...
your ass out of my face.
I'm not ready.
Just still yourself and come out with it.
Thank you, Mrs. Sato. I needed that. As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was, as unbelievable as it may seem, that thing there. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the hell?
Here.
Objection!
I have no words. Open your eyes and look into mine, my Nipponese friend. Oh, wow, I didn't realize how beautiful your eyes were. Oh, don't be playing that game with me now. Wait until after the trial's over. Now tell me, what are you playing at? Stand firm now, Rinosuke. This is the time to show your Japanese spirit. As the court will observe, this is a waxwork model. Ow. A model, in fact, of an infamous London murderer from 10 years ago, the Professor.
Objection!
You started by indicating the leader of the forensic investigation team as an accomplice in this crime. And now you've moved on to indicting waxworks? Yes, that's about the size of it. But why? And why this waxwork? It looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible justification can you give? If you want to know why, ask Mr. Drebber. Oh shit, he's figured it out. What? Just days before Professor Harebrain performed his public demonstration, Mr. Drebber abducted this model from Madame Tuspel's. Did you say abducted? And 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum. Then the timing. Is this true, Mr. Drebber? At first, I couldn't see why Mr. Drebber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. But now, the reason is clear. He took it so that he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Asman.
And it just broke.
Objection!
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? That the witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist, that he did so in collusion with the country's finest coroner on a public stage in front of a vast audience. And that, to effect the deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really to believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide?
Objection!
Ow. Wait. Yes, if you put it like that, of course it sounds implausible.
I need to speak, if you please.
Go ahead, Mr. Foreman.
Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement. Oh no.
Very good. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings for the court to hear now.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty! Guilty!
Guilty.
Kill me!
Raising the corn.
Oh no, make sure the fire doesn't hit the corn. Okay, good.
Why? Free popcorn.
Oh! There goes the popcorn!
Daddy, I invented popcorn.
So, as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus. I knew that was going to happen.
It always happens.
We shall get through this, Mr. Naruhodo, as we always do,
Why did that
and uncover some new truths along the way, I'm quite sure.
As we always do. I like the way you said that. Yes, I agree. I'm going to have to appeal to the jurors as usual and see if I can persuade them to change their minds. The
Hey,
defense-
a lady can't help but get a little dreary.
Well, I mean, you are wearing steampunk, so I mean, I guess it makes sense. The defense will now embark on a summation examination. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman?
We are, my lord.
Very well. In that case, I ask you now to state clearly for all present to hear the grounds on which each of you has decided that the defendant is guilty of the crime of which he is charged.
I've known that woman for years. She'd never be an accomplice to anything.
Wait, number 6, you're supposed to wait till it's your turn. You'll just cut in front of the line.
Oi, I've waited long enough. Utter nonsense to think those two would ever be conniving with one another.
Sir, can you please put the newspaper down? We're in the middle of a trial.
Mooney,
The
Money.
loser.
she's still here. Now, we can't hear you, Moon.
Oh, is it like a green light trying to go on? Oh no, I don't hear anything.
Mm-mm.
Alright. Well, somebody will have to substitute until she gets back.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, there you
Oh,
are.
she's back.
Oh.
I heard her for a second.
Yeah, I heard her for a second, then I don't hear her again.
I crap
Oh, you're crapping out
Am I
still.
out. Sorry.
Oh, you're still crapping out, Mooney.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Okay. It sounds good now.
Alright. Oh dear. This is most troubling. But surely the waxwork on the man stolen is nothing to do with the coroner, is it? I have had my own problems with members of the police. I do not trust them much.
Just prove the waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's conjuring. Accusing someone without right evidence? Not a proper job, is it? I won't have it.
Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems the introduction of this waxwork model to the proceedings has polarized opinion. Given that its face is obscured and its build in no way resembles that of the victim, I can only applaud my learned friend's temerity at suggesting it as Mr. Asmund's body double. Yes, the applause is deafening, and yes, I know it seems extraordinary. But that's the point. That's why I have a strong feeling it's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realizes.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
I can't explain why at the moment, but I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used, why it had to be this model.
Really? A reason why nothing else would do, you mean?
Yes, and I'm convinced it's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim.
Well, if that's the case... Must prevent the trial from ending prematurely at all costs.
Yes, agreed. I have to find a way out of this. If you are ready, Counsel, you may proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. Alright, little mouse, let's do this.
I'm ready too. Let's go kick some ass.
I'm gonna rest my voice for a moment so I don't have to do that.
Elliot,
Sir.
what are you doing, honey? You want to say hi? Say hi?
Hi, Elliot.
Oh, he was a naughty little boy today. Decided at some point it was time to. Oh, okay, never mind. I'll continue this later.
Alright.
You're like, okay, I can go. I guess I'll go fuck myself.
What sort of problems?
Let's just say we have run into each other on numerous occasions while I have been performing on the street.
Right, I see.
Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to our audiences. So we perform our great magic in parks, on street corners, and the like. But the police use any excuse to make our lives difficult.
Wait, why is he doing the axolotl spin? Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? That one moment in one of the Metal Gear games where what's his name?
Yeah.
Ocelot? He's spinning the guns. It's like 2 minutes of doing this.
Maybe.
Juggling it around. She could show it on here.
Oh, I can't, because I don't have any Metal Gear Solid games. Do you have something to say in response to that, Mr. Ottermole?
What do you call a mass murderer?
Well, I mean, you're spinning that. You're spinning that gun around. Oh, sorry, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you look like him.
I don't look anything like the man. You want to be locked up, Sonny? Oh yeah, it's Hulkamania time now.
You look like Yosemite Sam with that damn thing.
Ooh, I'll have your hide, varmint.
Yosemite Armole, everybody.
Ooh, you're as bad as that pesky rabbit.
It's a duck.
I'm gonna deep six you, you crookedy took landlubber.
Thanks, Mr.
That sounds like
Jones.
as if he was a pirate.
Perhaps we can move on. I was really wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what juror number 3 just said. And clearly you do.
Back in
Don't
my
make me
day.
throw my...
Back in the good old days.
Oh no, it's one of these speeches.
Oh, God.
It wasn't like this.
It was actually worse.
Yeah, we were shooting everybody down. Everybody was guilty.
I'm getting to that, lad.
What was it like? What was it like, sir?
We worked our fingers to the bone, turned the public's trust, we did. By Jove, we earned it. People respected us back then.
Yeah, because you twirled your gun around like that at all times.
Respected you.
Yeah, even he's like, fuck you.
No one would call the coroner into question in them days.
Yeah, but we got more progressive since then.
The report was the hallmark of an investigation I'm right. They went Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name to it. It was the best of the best, and the apple of Force's eye.
Oh, hold it.
Hey, Grandpa.
Hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Who's Courtney Stevens?
Ah, sorry, got a bit carried away there.
Stevens is Dr. Sight's maiden name. Her maiden name? So that was before she was married.
Of course, yeah. Silly me. It's Scythe now, isn't it?
Stevens. I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently.
Wait a minute. Anyway, the point is, those were the great days of policing, not like now.
Sorry to interrupt,
sorry.
sir.
Sorry, no, my character sounds like he's been smoking, like, for 80 years.
2 million Marlboros. But do you think you could change your statement to include that name?
Yes. I don't see why not. It was Courtney Stevens back when I knew her. Of course, legendary coroner even then.
Objection.
Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious! To whose statements do you refer, counsel? So, juror number 2.
Oh gosh, me? What can I do for you?
I presume that you heard what juror number 6 said in his statement. It's brought to light the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Scythe, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before.
Well, naturally. As a woman of society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible. But, oh golly, I'm afraid I failed to see what you mean.
Dr. Scythe's maiden name is Stevens, and through that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it.
My goodness, evidence, you say? How utterly enthralling.
Counsel, the court cannot overlook that last remark. I very much hope that there's substance to your claim. Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. The evidence that clearly links Dr. Scythe to the mass murderer known as the Professor.
Take that!
I have here a certain autopsy report from 10 years ago. A 10-year-old autopsy report? What relevance does that have? It is, of course, from the autopsy of the person portrayed in the waxwork, the killer known as the Professor. Oh, shit. The Professor's? But the man was a capital offender, so... That's right. This is the certification of death that was drawn up after the convict's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gives few details. But what's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens.
Oh my! Courtney Stevens!
Strike a light. I'm Australian. Voice keeps changing. Voice has taken on a life of its own.
It appears that the professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Scythe 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Mr. Drebber very deliberately stole the waxwork of the professor from Madame Tuspel's. A waxwork that doesn't in fact resemble the victim, Mr. Asman, at all.
And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between those events?
Absolutely, I'm sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind that the Professor case is at the heart of a link that we have yet to uncover. Between Dr. Courtney Scythe and Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is almost extraordinary. We're surely obliged now to explore this further. Boom, bitch.
What, Rot? Can't let this trial come to an end now. Well, there's this cloud of suspicion hanging over the yard's best coroner.
I take that fucking gun away from him.
Like this in my day, but we're still here to uphold justice in the end.
2 down, 2 to go.
Done it.
It's the
Who's next? Who's next?
I guess I am.
Well, we'll find out.
Well,
Hold it!
you called it.
But you claim the whole instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a trick.
That I did. But there's no more than one way to pull out a rabbit out of a hat, isn't it?
Well, you would know. You have the magic hat of all things.
Excuse you.
Sorry.
I grant you, given that the cage appeared from the mist and explosion, there has been no need to use a real person. But if a waxwork had been used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim.
I'm not sure exactly how much criminals are governed by decency.
The point is, if you're going to make a claim about waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, that is not science.
So I gotta convince you it's science. Like the song.
Yes, blind me with science.
I suppose we should expect nothing less than a logical argument from a fellow of the Royal Society.
Are we sure that's a logical argument, or is that just one based on emotion because it's not logical?
That perhaps means his mind could be changed if we manage to present suitable evidence.
Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside that birdcage. Can I produce that or not? Actually, I have something I'd like you to see, sir.
I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats. So given your jet black outfit, I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here.
Sir, my coat is blue. So you don't trust anyone in black? Looking in the mirror must be very trying. I do have some evidence that proves the waxwork was inside that birdcage, namely...
Take that!
What's that? A piece of glass. Though it's unusual thick for glass.
Yes, it's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket on the waxwork. As you say, it's not ordinary glass, though. It's very thick and clearly made for extra strength. Much like the special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower.
The crystal Holy smokes!
Exactly. The centerpiece of the Great Exhibition where the very incident we're talking about took place. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through a window of that special glass.
From where hence this small piece originated? Is it that?
Precisely. So what do you say? Now that clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you.
As I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it. In light of what you have shown me here, yes, I feel obligated to change my position on the matter.
In that case, juror number 4, you will amend your statement now, please. Oh, there we go. We got the science guy on our side.
Objection!
And those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious! To whose statements do you refer, counsel? If you could put down your corn for a moment, juror number 5. pointed out that it's wrong to make an accusation without evidence. But the accusation that the waxwork model was inside the second birdcage on the day in question is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrated to the jurors sitting beside you.
Oh, is that right?
Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument?
I don't understand much besides Colonial Cobb, to be honest.
Of course you don't.
If I could interject here. God damn it.
Please do, sir. I don't want to make popcorn right now.
Hey, Mr. Naruto,
No.
don't bully her.
Now, that this assertion of yours is about the waxwork has been backed up by some solid evidence, would it be wrong of me as a man of science not to pursue a matter further?
Alright, we're tied.
As well, me too, then.
Sorry?
If this brainy gentleman says E right, then E must be E. See, I wouldn't dream of going against Colonel Cobb or anyone who got stuffing between the ears.
And the corn puns are starting to hurt me.
How you think it makes me feel voicing her?
Success! If you can call it that. Thank you, counsel. That'll do. As a result of the summation examination, the jury's overall leaning has changed. 2 jurors now call guilty, against 4 who call not guilty. Accordingly, the court has failed to reach a consensus at this time. And the trial must continue. We did it!
We did it! We did it! Yay! We did it!
Okay,
Bring out Dora.
Let's not do Dora the Explorer here.
Something. We did it. Oh.
Aww.
Oh, man.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Another wonderful victory.
A waxwork of the despicable professor, used as a body double for the victim in this quite extraordinary case. I must say, it's extremely hard to believe the assertion could possibly be true. However, it would appear that it does at least warrant further investigation. It's the waxwork of the professor that links Mr. Drebber and Dr. Scythe. And I'm convinced that there's a special significance to that link.
Sorry.
And Yosemite Sam.
I don't know.
Drop mic.
Uh-oh. Did Sylph break?
I couldn't hear anyone for a minute.
What?
Yeah. Oh, we couldn't hear you. We couldn't hear you for a second.
Part of it might also be the connection because it's been pretty rainy over here, and
Yeah.
I can tell a lot of people have been having connection problems. Sorry.
The truth, sir, by using evidence and testimony.
If the court is to delve deeper into the alleged involvement of the waxwork in this case, then the prosecution calls for the owner of the model to be summoned as a witness. The owner? Madame Tuspels. Oh shit. She's gonna pour wax over everybody.
And then
Hey, what?
I really thought that Lord Van Zeeks would object to this whole line of inquiry. You thought wrong. Very well, I concur. Make arrangements for Madame Tuspels to appear as a witness with immediate effect. Listen carefully, my learned friend. Oh, yes? You should know that you're on the brink of opening Pandora's box.
Dun dun dun.
Well, let's open it. The court shall adjourn for 45 minutes. During that time, the prosecution will summon the new witness and prepare her for taking the stand.
Where's my burger, old man?
You're not getting any until this goddamn trial is over, okay? I haven't
I've
been
been
to
waiting
the...
for like 5 episodes already. Come on.
No! This trial is not done yet. You'll get your guilty burger in a minute. Madame Tuspels, yes. I shall see to it at once, my lord. Alright, well, there's that episode. Yeah, next time around, Madame Tuspels will be put on the stand with all of her hot boiling wax.
Run!
Believe it or
You
not.
bet your ass. I will make this a fun little testimony.
Well, that.
Or
Well,
get back on the display, or
Oh, I'm not going back up
your
there.
ass is
No.
wax.
No. I'm not going back up there. I'm already starving as it is. I've been on a 36-hour fasting because of you.
Indeed. He almost collapsed on the floor when he came into the door this morning.
And I couldn't even make dinner for Iris last night because I was collapsed on the floor. And we were going to have pizza. And there was going to be, but thankfully a nice Italian chef came up to us and said, I will make a fresh pasta and bongole in cilantro. And we had it, and it was so delicious too. I'm recommending the Italian chef come back because he really knows his food. I've never had.
At least you got it. Well, Hurley, at least
I thought it was gonna turn into the SpongeBob joke where Squidward's like, I even had to eat my paintings.
Sherlock, whatever. At least you got pizza. Some guy named Tommy came up to me, gave me a bottle of water and a slice of cheesecake, and called me a chicken.
Well, I don't appreciate the manners of that gentleman. I'll have to give him a stern talking to.
Good. Last time I checked, he blew his brains out after his girlfriend cheated on him with his best friend.
Oh, so you mean there's a case that I need to solve?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Iris, we're gonna go solve the case of the death of Tommy Wiseau. That's our new adventure. Let's go!
What's up, Hurley?
You could call this story The Mystery of the Room.
Ooh, look, spoons.
Oh, these balloons are glorious. So many good ones. We should take these back home with us.
I wonder if they all match though. Hurley. A lot of them could be useful for different sets of embroidery.
Yes, you know what we can make? Applesauce. We can make so much applesauce. We could eat the applesauce with the spoons. It will make the applesauce taste so spectacular.
Oh no, the creepy kid Denny's here.
It depends on what type of things that you put in them, Hurley.
I think we're going way too far into this rabbit hole.
Alright. Good night, everybody. Enjoy your...
We're making our own fan fiction at this point, which we do not need. Bye.
At some point, like, we need to do, like, a script. So
yes.
It's like the same AI that did the Sonic fan movie script.
Bye.
What